Hey guys, welcome to Active Self-Protection Extra. This is your Mantis Dry Fire, Live Fire Monday, and I'm Brian Hill with the Complete Combatant. I see a lot of you working really hard on improving your draw stroke. It is the quintessential technique for the armed citizen. Going from concealment allows us the element of surprise, and having a great draw stroke allows us to get into the fight. So we need to practice it hard. Something I've noticed in class has been quite frequent is a lot of folks are showing up and they have great dry practice scores, and while we're in speed and efficiency mode, it's fine. But as soon as we go to performance mode, like testing, the scores go up tremendously, sometimes as much as a half a second. So that means there's a disconnect between our practice and our performance mode.
Today's video is brought to us by Mantis. The Mantis family of products is integral to ASP staff building handgun and carbine skills and are your most economical and fastest path to improvement in your skills too. Whether you choose the X10, the Laser Academy, the Blackbeard, or use them all in concert, they will help your practice be more effective, efficient, and fun. Go check them out, pick up a unit, and thank them for sponsoring today's video.
Remember, you want to practice in accuracy mode. Accuracy and precision be really good. That means you kind of eliminate the time, or it's very long in comparison. Then we practice speed and efficiency mode, and we eliminate extreme accuracy in that. We give us a more generous accuracy standard. But performance mode means that we're going to see our dot and call our shots. That's really the important part of it. We're going to get the immediate feedback of being able to shoot well. Okay. Something that happens in practice is that we don't have a lot of distance in our dry fire rooms, so we scale our targets down. It's a great solution. Unfortunately, I don't believe at the psychological level that most people's brains truly believe that that is an indicator of distance, all right? Or when they're calling their shots, they're not being strict enough. Remember, if there's any doubt, it's a miss and you should make it up again. So we're gonna practice as a drill that I call the fade back drill. I didn't make it up. But I don't really remember who showed it to me first, but I know people do it, and it's an important thing. What we're going to do is desensitize ourselves to distance. Now, some people, the distance happens very quickly, and for some people, it happens a little further back. You got to figure out what's for you. What you're going to do is draw and fire one. As long as it's in the alpha box, you can take a step back. As soon as you get to the point where you're having a hard time getting them in the alphas or in a bullseye or whatever you want to do, just don't make it too strict, okay? Because you're going to have to shoot that really small circle at 25 yards at some point. But make it big enough that you get some generosity. As soon as you find that point where you want to stop, then that's where you've got to practice. Where you're having a performance problem, where you're not able to get it 80–90% of the time, then we need to stop and get used to that. Small steps backwards allow the brain to adjust to the distance and allows you to see how much of either the dot you need to see, how careful you need to be on the trigger, how much visual patience you need to install, how hard you need to aim. Whatever methodology works for you is what it is. So right now I'm at 3 yards, so I'm going to get a baseline from me. I'm not going to do every distance because good Lord would watch me shoot 20 rounds, and it's going to be clunky enough with me moving the camera around anyway. But what I'm going to do is draw and get a baseline right here. All right, so I should see a 9. That's a place that I own. I can get in the 8s, occasionally I hit a 7s, but that's not places I own. I own the 9s right now. So let's see what a .9 draw looks like. Dot's good, gun's loaded, all set. Okay, good hit in the 10 ring, and it's an 88. All right, so that's really where I live right now. Saw everything I needed to. It's a good hit. It's 88. So that's me at 3 yards. Now let's move back to 7, because that's where a lot of drills happen. Build drills, things like that. Testing performance for Gabe White's class, Scott Jelinski's class, they all happen at 7 yards because there's a proximal distance in there where we start worrying a little bit. So I'm going to move back to 7 yards. Okay. All right, so same thing. As long as I'm in the alpha zone, it's good. Okay. I wouldn't expect to see much difference in this, but it'll probably be in the 9s because I'm going to be aiming just a bit harder. Make sure I stay in the camera here. All right, stand by. Okay, not the greatest draw. I'm going to call a mulligan instead of just firing a shot. Let it ride. We're working on seeing the best that we can right now. Let's try it again. May have jumped that one a little bit. Certainly did. That's a 76. So it's good to jump the buzzer occasionally. All right, that means that you're stretching and you're reaching to perform at a higher level. If you've ever run track or you run a swim team, false starts are a common thing because we're always trying to get there first. All right, And very conservative people by nature don't want to feel like they're cheating. This is not cheating right now, we're just trying to go off the beep. So occasionally I have to know what too soon feels like. All right, so we'll fire another one. Okay, bit high just outside the alpha, it was a 95. All right, bit high outside the alpha. So I would spend a second working here. That means I probably didn't see quite enough. Let's do one more real quick. All right, now we got a good hit, okay? We're in the alpha, it's a 98. So you could say maybe there's a 10th difference and I'm using that to aim, but I'm still in my comfort zone at 7 yards. Now where that really starts to change for me is at about 10 yards, okay? So now we're at 30 feet and I need to spend just a bit of time aiming here, okay? So usually that's a 10th or so, but I'm gonna try to push it to the same level. If I've been desensitizing myself and just moving back a little bit at a time, it's easier than just doing the draw now. But let's see what we get. Okay, good hit. All right, good hit, 112, okay? So I did spend just a bit of time aiming there, all right? At 20 or 15, I would expect 1-1, 1-2, and at 25, I'd expect a 1-3, a 1-4. So we see the training methodology is working. I'm getting desensitized to the distance, but I'm also learning to do what I just need to do every time to be able to see what I'm shooting. Of course, you guys want to see the target, so let's go down here and look. All right, so that's the highs that I called out earlier. All right, these are the good hits. So I need to miss occasionally because that's teaching me to let go instead of being in strict control. Now, if I had a quarter second to every one of those draws, I can put them all in a B8. All right, so if I did a 135 back there at 10 yards, no problem, they all go into B8. But what I'm doing is pushing myself to see what's possible. And once I know that it's possible to do these things, then I practice it over and over and it becomes more probable, okay? Accuracy first shooters hate to miss the target. I speak from experience. And then speed guys will always say, well, you just don't want to miss. But it's more than that, I think. We don't want to let go. We don't want to lose control. That's part of our methodology. I didn't lose control here, but I did see what a little too fast felt like. And if you're going to ever have to slow down your shooting, you need to understand what too fast feels like. I don't recommend actually slowing things down, but I do recommend gathering more information as you shoot. So there'll be a perceptual difference with that. Problem is, if you get in a fight and you start shooting so fast and you don't see anything, then we have real problems. The other side of the problem is if you don't get in a fight and you shoot too slow, you'll lose the fight. So we've got a problem here, and it's time relative, so we're practicing the draw at different distances and knowing what we're capable of. I hope that helps you. You guys should get on your Mantis and do the holster draw analysis and really practice with that, break it down, get rid of all the motions that don't matter. There's a lot of good work being done with that. But then you got to come out here and you got to test it. You can do it in live fire with the Mantis and then get your scores with it. You should see a slight bump. All right, dry practice is not live practice. There is a difference in performance methodology, but you need to train for consistency. So that means the recency of practice really matters. Okay, if you go more than 72 hours without practice, you're going to see a slight sluggishness in your performance level. So make sure you have recent practice, make sure it's consistent, and make sure that you're holding yourself to a high level of shot calling. If you have any doubt, then it's a miss, and you'll know what that feels like. For the competitor, that means you can make up another shot. For the armed citizen, that means that you've missed the target and you have to shoot again. And it's an interesting way to look at it because, you know, if we're shooting against somebody and we know that we've clearly missed, then we're going to have to fire another shot. So this feedback, this immediate feedback makes you a better shooter overall. All right, guys, work on that. Hope that helps you. Get your Mantis out and do it. Get a part-timer out and practice it. Come to the range and do it. If you're limited at a range where you can't draw, just do it from the extended prep and press. So start from the compressed position, finger goes to the trigger, see the sights, press the shot. All right. That usually is about a half a second for most people, half a second to 0.7 instead of like a full draw stroke. All right. There's a reaction and then a short press to the target. If you can do it outside or you have a target that moves at a range that allows drawing, then you can practice it just as is. Move it a little bit at a time. Desensitize yourself to distance, and then you'll know exactly how much you need to see and how much you need to grip the gun in order to make a hit. All right, I'm Brian Hill with The Complete Combatant, and as always, measure, refine, and perform.